Everyone, this is Mel Melvin, and welcome to my channel, Doorway to the World. This is just a brief video on an explanation of how I did my top rosy out of rosewood. Before I go into the shop, I just wanted to explain a little bit how I did this top. Now, if you don't have, I guess a brief backup, if you don't have access to a shop or a lathe, and you still want to do battle tops, you can go on eBay. I found that's the best place. You get a top with a tip like this. That makes the best top. I make them with pop rivets, of course. But eBay has some good ones. And also Spin Tops has, they come 3 in a pack. And you can buy them very inexpensively. And then you can still have a lot of fun with battle tops, which I've done. Now, very briefly, there's a lot of different ways to make these tops. And if you go on the net, there's some great woodworkers that do this. This happens to be rosewood. And if I can just measure this a little bit, yeah, it's a little over 2 inches. A good top is anywhere from 1.8 to 2.5 inches on the length of the block. And then I usually buy them 2 inches by 2 inches. And then you can get them, in 12 inches length or something like that. But it's 2 inches wide, 2 inches deep. And those are the tops that I do. Now, the first thing that I would do is I would go to my shop and I would go on the drill press and then just drill a hole right straight through the middle of this with a 7mm bit, which I can put on my lathe on the mandrel. So I'll show you how to do that. But I would go straight through and put that a hole through that, and then mount it on the drill, mount it on my lathe. I'm sorry. And then begin to spin this down. Of course, you'd spin it down and then make it a smooth surface, and then begin to shape your top the way this works. Now, on this particular top, you have to have a top to wrap the string around, and this is about 1.2 inches. So this particular part of the top is about 1.2 inches in diameter, and this goes about 0.2 or 0.3 inches in the length. And then I usually come in and make a little indentation so that the string can wrap around there. So again, about 1.2, 1.3 inches for the diameter of the top and about 0.2, 0.3 down. And then on this particular top, I patterned this after, of course, my Duncan top. As I might have explained, I did some ratios on this. And the first measurement comes up to the crest and is about 0.4 inches. And it comes up to the crest and then goes straight down, pretty much straight down to the tip. And that is about 1.1 or 1.2. So the overall length of this is a little small, but I like it still at about 1.7 or 1.8 inches total length of that top. So I would turn it down. Now what I found was that I sand my tops, but I don't polish them or put any mineral oil on, because when you throw it, you want to have a nice whipping action on the end. And if it's polished and looks really sweet, if you polish it, but if you polish it really on a high polish, that string will slip off and you don't get a real good snap, and you lose a lot of spinning time. So I never polish my tops. I'll just sand them and keep them looking kind of dull, but they work better. Okay, so once that is done, once I'm satisfied with my top, I'll take a 3/8 inch dowel, and I'll put this on my belt sander and just sand the tip down. So I'll just start sanding this tip down to a nice little point, and then I will stick it in the 7mm hole here and glue it. Okay. It don't matter if there's some sticks out for right now. Just get a nice little tip and push it in there, glue it, let it sit. And then once that's done, just be carefully sand off the remaining part of the dowel so you don't come down and spend too much time with your tip, so you get that worked over. But just sand down the dowel, okay? And then what I would do, I use my pop rivets. I use a 3/16 inch short rivet. So it looks like this. And of course, this whole part's got to go into the top now. So you'd have to drill a hole a little less than 3/16 into the dowel. And this is a little tricky because you want it to get it straight in and not too much curvature. So just be careful to kind of drill that down in there a little bit smaller than a 3/8 inch. And then before you put it in, I usually put a little washer in there. So the washers are, I don't know what exactly this is, but it's just a little teeny bit of a washer. And that goes down inside the rivet like this, okay, before you push that into the top, and just center that on the top dowel portion and push that in. And I usually push it in with a little bit of a piece of wood so I don't mar up that tip to start with, and then just let that sit for a while. And that basically is the top. It took me years to figure out this top, however. So every part of this top has been, I've worked it over many times. And I don't know if you can see this, but it's a little bit of a round to the point, and then it's kind of a little bit of a round down. And I patterned this after the Duncan top, so it's a little bit of a round, and that takes a little bit of a practice. Not a straight, but a little bit of a round to the tip, and it's got to have some distance here to wrap your string around, of course. And this is about as small as you can get, so 1.7, 1.8. I would start with about probably about a 2-inch piece of wood. This was a little bit bigger. What was this? This was almost 2.5 inches, but I would start with probably a 2-inch length on the wood. And that's basically how I do my pop rivet tops, and they fit and do really well with my Battletop Arenas. So let's see if I can get this out to you, and so you can get going on it.